$100 million loan payment. The hedge fund that was owed the money demanded a face-to-face meeting with executives at Sheldon Solo's real estate operations here at his office building in New York. With reality closing in, Drier enlisted the services of a former client, Kosta Kovachev, to impersonate the president of Solo's operation. Then he commandeered a conference room in Solo's office for a meeting with a hedge fund in hopes of getting a loan extension. And you conduct this whole charade right there in the middle of Solo's business?
Yeah.
Did you think you were going to get away with that?
Yeah.
You did, actually, didn't you?
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
I should have been nervous, but I don't know, I wasn't very nervous.
I don't get the sense that you're a very emotional person.
I think I am. I didn't plan anything I was going to say in this interview other than not to lose my emotions. But it's not going to do me any good to literally cry over it.
When I ask you about the emotion, I mean, here you are, walking into a former client's office, perpetuating this scheme right in his office.
That's called chutzpah. That's not emotion, you know. I mean, do I have chutzpah? Yes. Can I be very tough under pressure? Yes. So was I able to go into Mr. Solo's office and pull off that charade without falling apart? Yes. Did I think I could do that? Yes, because I had done things that required nerves of steel before. But it doesn't mean that I'm not emotional about what I did. I clearly remember when I left that office thinking I had done something really crazy and foolish.
It was bizarre. I mean, he was impervious to the idea of being caught.
Attorney Gerald Shargell, who would represent Drier during his legal proceedings and plea negotiations with the U.S. government, said the facts of the case were beyond the reach of a soundbite.
He was a solid lawyer, and there are a number of judges who told me that Marc Drier was probably the best lawyer that has ever appeared in front of him. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's like something went off the tracks.
Do you have any idea what it was?
You know, he was fighting his own demons. In his own mind, he hadn't achieved what he was expected to achieve. And he wanted to just grab for it, but he grabbed for it in a profoundly sick way.
In December of 2008, both investors and investigators had grown suspicious of Drier, and his luck would eventually run out in Toronto, where he pretended to be a lawyer for a teacher's pension fund in order to swindle a hedge fund out of $33 million.
That was the first act I'd done where I knew I was going to get caught and just couldn't help myself. I just wasn't thinking clearly.
Drier had collected a business card from the lawyer he was claiming to be, but the man he was supposed to meet with sensed that there was something wrong. What made him suspicious, do you think?
You know, he had acted diligently, and he made some phone calls which I think led him to be suspicious. I knew as soon as he walked in that he was suspicious. But I still did it.
The police in Toronto were called, and Drier was arrested for impersonation. When he returned to New York 5 days later, he was apprehended by the FBI on charges of fraud and money laundering, to the complete and utter astonishment of the New York legal community and to the employees of his own law firm.
When we heard the news, we thought it was a joke at first.
There were 10 floors of attorneys and boxes, but a lot of people started to resign immediately. They just walked out the door.
Okay, next up. These are the black Poltrona Frau leather bucket-style chairs.
10 days after Drier's arrest, the law firm bearing his name had declared bankruptcy, and 600 people were looking for work. The day we met attorney Joanne Rapuano and longtime office manager Tori Lalonde, the firm's furniture and office equipment were being sold off by the court to pay off the creditors, mostly hedge funds and their investors, who were not likely to see much of the missing $400 million.
Okay, now we have the paper shredder. If this paper shredder could talk. How much of the paper shredder? $25 bid, open it up now.
What's it like being here?
Truly tragic. You know, you watch something get built, you think you're part of something on its way up, then all of a sudden you see it being carted out the front door.
1,000 opens it up. $1,000 bid to open it up.
It's just disgraceful. We are victims. I have no job. I have no medical. After today, I'm done. So now what do I do? Start my career all over?
I don't want to compare you with Madoff, but one of the questions that people ask about Madoff constantly is how could he do this? How could he walk around living this life, spending all this money, never showing a crack in the facade. And there's some similarities, but how did you deal with that?
I was doing a lot of things at the same time. I was engaged in a fraud, which took a lot of energy to sustain. But I was also running a law firm, a legitimate law firm, other than obviously the obvious fact that it was funded illegitimately. I was a practicing lawyer. I was handling my own cases in court, which took a lot of energy. I almost didn't have enough time to dwell on the elephant in the room, which was the very, the crime I was engaging with to keep all this up.
He has plenty of time to dwell on it now. After entering his guilty plea, Marc Drier has begun serving his 20-year prison sentence. He wanted everyone he hurt to know that he was profoundly sorry. And for someone so obsessed with his own image and what people thought about him, his punishment is just beginning.
I've lost everything I own. I've lost my business. I've obviously lost my reputation. I've caused my family, obviously, enormous unhappiness. And I have nothing.
Do you have any friends?
Now?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem so.